So my first impressions of Aizawa were that his hitbox is pretty small, he's kind of hard to use, and he seems a little bit buggy, but overall, his kit is tons of fun to play. He has a very high skill ceiling, and he can be a really, really good character given that you are on a team that can work well with you. So today, the goal of this video is just to talk about what I thought after playing Aizawa for the first day and what I hope happens with him. So first off, let's start with kind of the bad things. His erasure or his special action, I feel like it does not always work the way it's supposed to. So sometimes I am erasing people, I'm looking directly at them, I have a clear line of sight, they haven't broken line of sight, and then they're still able to use their skills. So like Cementos is a great example. I had this happen a few times. Ida's a great example. I had that happen a few times with him as well. And I understand that like if they're halfway through a skill, right? Like Bakugo shooting his alpha skill, that alpha skill will still go through and it will hit you and it will interrupt your erasure, right? Or at least that's the way it seems to work. So I understand that, but there's times where I don't get hit at all. I'm looking directly at the opponent and they're still able to use their skills. Now, granted, it does take like half a second to a second for the erasure to fully activate, but it still doesn't feel great. So I feel like erasure could be buffed a little bit, be a little bit better. Second, his alpha skill is one of the hardest freaking skills to land. I don't feel like it's rewarding enough for how hard it is to actually land the alpha skill. I would put like using Aizawa's alpha skill on the level of how hard it is to be like play a Kirishima and actually make really good use of him. Like landing that alpha skill is so hard. So I would like to see the hitbox personally maybe a tiny bit bigger for the alpha skill, but I do think it is still very good. And I'm talking about the drop kick hitbox. Sorry, I should be more specific. I want to see the drop kick hitbox be a little bit bigger for the alpha skill. In terms of the grabbing and binding, that doesn't need to be bigger because it is really OP to grab and bind somebody. And if your teammates are following up on it, it's really OP. So I don't think that necessarily needs to have a bigger hitbox, but the drop kick is definitely hard to use. Now his gamma skill, the big sweeping AoE attack, I think that move is amazing. I think it is the best move for Aizawa so far. And if you were to ask me which skill should I be leveling up, the alpha, the beta, or the gamma, I would say the gamma skill, because the gamma skill, I personally think, is the best when it comes to doing damage, to breaking shields, and actually not missing. Okay, it's really hard to land Aizawa's dropkick on the alpha skill, and then the problem with his beta skill is the tracking's really weird. So he has 5 kicks on his beta skill. Sometimes I've had it happen where he just doesn't do damage at all, even though the kicks connect. Like you push the enemy back, they go invulnerable, and you don't do damage at all, and it's really weird. Or you'll have like 2 of the kicks hit, not continue kicking the opponent and just like slip through them and continue going further. So the beta's a little bit glitched out too, which bugs me, right? So that's why I would say invest in the gamma skill first over the beta skill, and then invest in the alpha skill next over the beta skill, and then do the beta skill last. The beta skill is really good when it comes to movement, and you can schmoo with Aizawa between his alpha skill and his beta skill. Like he can really get around the map. Like it's crazy how much movement he has. It's really good. And the backflipping that you do off of his alpha skill, if you're trying to get away from people, you grapple up to a cliff, they aim at the cliff expecting you to kind of stay there because that's what every other character does. But Aizawa backflips off the cliff and they miss their shot. So it works out really well. And I actually like using that to my advantage. A lot of people might not like his backflip, right? And it might be a little bit weird to them. But I feel like the backflip is actually really unique and really good. And if you do it right, you know, it's fine for movement, because all you have to do is aim at like a higher building and then grapple up to that higher building. You'll backflip off it onto the lower building that you were aiming for. So you just got to think a little bit when using Aizawa's grapple. I think it's really good, and I think it's solid. So if I were to fix things, just to lay this out again, his special skill needs to be fixed because it feels like it does not always erase quirks like it's supposed to, okay? I've definitely had times where I'm like, I should have erased the quirk, didn't erase the quirk, I'm standing there like a dummy, and they still just snipe me, right? And I have wasted my time trying to erase quirks, I've taken damage, and I feel useless, I haven't helped my team at all. So the erasure feels like it's glitched out a little bit. The alpha skill, the hitbox, I would like that to be a little bit bigger on the dropkick. They aren't necessarily going to do that, but that would be something I like. That's not something that needs to be done, but that's just my personal preference. The beta skill, the tracking needs to be better, and it needs to not make the opponent immune before you even have done damage. I don't know why it does it. It's really annoying. Okay, so that needs to be fixed. And the gamma skill, perfect the way it is. I really, really like the gamma skill. So those are my bug fixes. Now, on to the good things. I already kind of mentioned a little bit of the good things, but I like his movement. He has insane movement. As you watch this video here that I have playing in the background, you'll just see just how much movement Aizawa actually has, how good he can be when it comes to grappling around, when it comes to using his kicks to get to high places, to escape situations, things like that. Like, I think Aizawa is really, really good and a really solid character. Second, I think he has one of the most fun kits in game when it comes to learning a difficult character. Toga, I would say, is a difficult character because you do have to know how to use her kit and use everyone else's kit. And then Aizawa, I would say, is also a difficult kit character, and I like the skill ceiling that's on him. I like playing characters that are hard. Back when Overwatch originally came out, I mained Widowmaker because I liked playing characters that were a little bit more difficult. So same thing here. I feel like Aizawa is going to play into those strengths of people who like to play those harder characters, who like to master those harder characters, and I feel like it adds a whole new level to the game for people who like to play harder characters. His combos are insanely hard, but his combos can be very rewarding and they can do a lot of damage. So overall, my opinion of Aizawa is that I really, really like him. I have really enjoyed playing him on the first day. I feel like he's a little bit bugged and some things need to be fixed, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please help me out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.
Can anybody out there hear me?